What do we got today? Odin 3. What's going on, everybody? Stubbs here, or if you're new to the channel, some guy talking about fancy plastic. Today we're going to be talking about the AYN Odin 3. This was sent over for review from AYN. Looks like they sent over the Purple Pro model, so that should be fun to take a look at. In today's first look video, we're going to be taking a look at impressions of the device, comparing it with some similar devices, doing a little bit of gameplay, and then kind of summarizing my thoughts of what I think so far. Stay tuned on the channel. We have a full review coming from Zoo, and on our website, we're going to have full coverage, retrohandhelds.gg. And before we get started, yes, we do have a subscribe button. No, you don't have to click it, but we are trying to get to 100K. All right, enough of my yapping. Let's hop in. Odin 3 finally here. I still remember the days of the Odin 1, how exciting that was. And then we got the Odin 2 over here, and then absolutely one of the most comfortable handhelds. But they iterated, gave us the Portal, the Mini. All of a sudden we get this dual screen, awesome AYN Thorin. And now we're on the third generation. This is a Snapdragon 8 Elite in here. Performance is going to be great, but we do know that compatibility with Switch might not be the best since you're going to be relying on those native Adreno drivers. So we'll be swapping between Citron and Eden, I imagine. Really, the big thing I want to know is how are the ergonomics, because I love my Conquer Pocket Fit. I can't wait for the retail model to show up. And yo, this is purple. So that's what the purple would look like for the Thor. Oh, that is nice. Got some function buttons back there. Nice big fan intake, output, all glass front. That is absolutely gorgeous. It's a little smaller than I thought. Coming over from the Odin 2, I would say that's a bit more comfortable. This is more compact. This reminds me of the Conquer Pocket Fit. Not quite as ergonomic, though I do enjoy the feel of that better. And again, I don't have one here to show you. I'm waiting for my retail to ship. But yeah, that'll do nicely. You know what this needs, though? If this could just get a grip, like something that we see from JC Studios. On the Mini, also another one I didn't find very ergonomic. Throw a grip like this on, or the AYN stock grip, very much improves the experience. I would like to see something like this for that. But yeah, okay, so 6-inch screen here, 1920 by 1080, 120 hertz. And if you want to know the rest of the specs, we're going to go ahead and list them on the screen here. What we got inside? Good to have instructions. Okay, it's good to have a good USB cable. Now that is very nice packaging, but we don't keep packaging. Oh yeah, they also sent these things. So we get a screen protector there. We get a TPU shell here. Now this might help the ergo a bit. And it's okay, it's not, the ergonomics are not bad. I'm nitpicking a bit here. It's only because I use the Conquer Pocket Fit and they just happen to nail the ergonomics. But you get an LCD screen in there, and you're gonna get the G3 Gen 3 or the 8 Elite variant if you want that, shipping a little bit later. But the G3 Gen 3, awesome performance on that. This TPU shell actually does add a little bit of bulk, and it does help a bit. I'm probably going to keep that off, though. Let's keep the device a little lighter weight if we can. Would love to do some weight comparisons. Looking at 385 on there. Let's compare it to something like the Retroid Pocket 5, 271. Similarly, the Retroid Pocket G2, also the same, which makes sense. Going down to the lower end with the Mangmi Air X, we're looking at 280. Odin 2 Mini at 341. Odin 2 at a honkin' 423. The Thor 367. My Thor does have the little add-on attachment for the stylus, though. Portal at 438. Should we keep going? Switch Lite at 275. The point being, this is nice and lightweight feeling. Yeah, that is a good weight. But yeah, I do wish there was just a bit of a bump out, something to go in right there. Speakers front firing on there, which is nice to see. I'm concerned if you got meaty palms like mine that we might cover the speaker holes a bit. On the Conquer Pocket Fit, the speakers are down here. We'll show that on the screen, by the way, if you want to see what that looks like. If you haven't seen one before, look at that. So yeah, the speakers are just a little further down. I found that grip to be a bit better done. Buttons are a little quieter on here. Ah, nice little thud. Silent. Quieter. Yeah, clicky L1 and R1. Looks like fingerprint reader right there. Top D-pad, you have that Vita style. Feels good. Rubber membrane face buttons. Vita's gonna be those dome switch style. And the joysticks, these are different. So they're a little taller. You see that? Should be able to still swap them out, no problem if you want. Yep. Put in maybe some hype sticks or other third party. Well, that's a perfect fit. These are cool because you can light up RGB lighting on some of these handhelds. And so it's going to light up this ring, light up. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's going to end up being my joystick. But this is very well done too, though. It feels good. And I enjoy the little bit of texture that we get around the sides there and on top. And also the texture that we get on the back is nice. This purple, I just really like that particular shade. Now it is two-tone because there's glass on the front there. What you're gonna get is a bit of a plum purple on the front and more of a atomic purple transparent here on the back. And I am here for it. You do get the two-tone as well around the buttons there. If you wanted to see the button up close, that's how much play you get out of them. And the travel feels just about right. Joystick, again, a little taller than we've seen on other AYN devices, but you get full control. It feels nice. This should be very nice for first-person shooters. As I'm holding it more, you know, it does feel a bit top-heavy, but it isn't bad. So you can kind of rock it and then play it like that. Speaking of ergonomics, really the ergonomic king is a Windows handheld this year. This Asus ROG Xbox Ally is the best ergonomics, but it is honking in its huge 7-inch screen. And of course, it's a Windows handheld. You know, the Portal really was their worst as far as ergonomics go. Having the grip on here very much did it some favors. This is a nice improvement from this. This has more area to grab, of course, but the bump wasn't quite right where you're gonna feel it in a way that's gonna be comfortable to hold and play for a long time. So this is much improved and one of their best ergonomics wise. As we take a look at the bottom of the device here, we get a micro USB holder there, which I'm gonna go ahead and pop in my 2 terabyte SanDisk right now. I love that we get a 3.5 headphone jack on the bottom still. Headphone enjoyers, there you go. Also USB-C with display out, by the way, at 4K. This does have Android 15, an 8,000 milliamp hour battery. This does not come with any games pre-installed, by the way. If you do want to get the grip for it, that is $15 on the website here. There's an Odin 3 accessories pack if you want everything for $30. You can get a carrying case, screen protector, pouch. The base, I think, is going to be okay for a lot of people, especially if you're just emulating up to some Switch, and that's your target, especially PS2, GameCube, things like that. Some Android gaming. Pro here, the 12256. This is going to be kind of the sweet spot, I would say, for most people at $399, whereas the base is at $329. But again, on the base, you're going to lose out on a little bit of the storage tech there, downgrade. And the max, if you can swing it, $450, but you get 16 gigabytes, 512 gigabytes of RAM, and the Ultra at $519. 24 gigabytes of RAM for Android is nuts, plus 1 terabyte. That's going to be for those of you who really want to get into Game Hub and win later and push its limits and boundaries. But you can always throw in up to a 2 terabyte SD card in there. And you get different colors here: white, rainbow, clear blue, clear purple, classic black. As we move through the menu here, this is your classic AYN OS setup, it looks like. You do have a swap up to 120 hertz there. Performance, you're going to get the same as the other Odin handhelds, up to a high performance. We can turn the sticks on. Beautiful. Let's get a nice pink going there. Subtle. Oh, and here's the fan. Smart is pretty much silent. All right, here's quiet. That is very quiet. I don't hear any whine. Sport. It gets pretty loud. And that I hear a little bit of whine, a fan whine. And performance is probably all we need. We can push it to high performance, especially when benchmarking. Okay, in Odin settings, we get vibration strength settings, low, medium, high, highest. Output settings. Oh, speaking of video out, I wonder, maybe the RP5, the regular size. Oh, it just barely fits. No way. Okay, so this other Etsy shop called Crystal Gem, they make these little inserts so you can get access to your volume up and down on your RP5, but it happens to line up so that this actually lines up with the volume up and down. So the adapter happens to just randomly work for the Odin 3. Nice. That's interesting. Now the Odin 3 does get brighter on the max side, so these just aren't quite aligned right. And on the dimmest setting, you can get very dim on the Odin 3. Okay, so this does work. The only thing is we can't do independent screens right now, so maybe they will release an update that truly supports the dual screen. That's cool. Promising, and it fits, and even the buttons line up, so you can use this adapter Highly recommend, by the way. Pick these up pretty cheap, so I like having access to my buttons. Oh, and it closes up nicely too. Not too bad. It does make contact with the screen, so that concerns me a little. Maybe you do want that screen protector if you're going to use the dual screen. Let's do some dead zones. Is it pocketable? I mean, it is pocketable technically, but the joysticks are tall, so it catches on your way out there. I don't know if I feel like walking. People might say, is that an Odin 3 in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? Okay, so after using for a few minutes here anyways, getting my fingers all over the screen, let's see if we're seeing signs of any touch marks, fingerprints. So yeah, you do see a little bit on the screen there. On the purple area, it's tougher for me to see, so it kind of hides that. But I would keep a microfiber cloth handy. Okay, on to game testing. So I've loaded on a bunch of games on here. Game Hub is something I'm very excited about. The 8 Elite works great with this. Kicking things off, having a little bit of fun with Game Hub here is 10 Second Ninja, one of my absolute favorite games. And now to play Rob the Retro Tech Dad's favorite game, Ball X Pit. I've been practicing. We'll see if I'm any better here. And this is using the native built-in driver here. So the fan kicked on, not too loud, kind of a medium volume there. But we got a solid 60 frames per second the whole way through. Game Hub Lite is excellent as well. It is lighter weight and just less bloated, easier to navigate. Some of them just work right off the bat. Some of them you got to tinker a bit, change out the GPU driver. Yeah, man, those joysticks feel nice with the grip. You can really grip your thumb into that well, especially if you've large thumbs like mine. On the topic of image retention, so far, I have not seen any image retention on here. I did see it, however, on my AYN Thor. This was my pre-production unit here. And this is one where I have it in dark mode, and then I reboot the system, and for a little bit, the AYN logo shows on the screen, and it's retained. It dissipates after a few minutes or if I start a game. Now, it doesn't happen all the time, and it hasn't been happening lately since the last update, so I don't know if there was any fix that happened there, but do a little music test. Nice and bassy, got good mid-range. And the treble is nice and tight there. So this is pretty good sound I'm getting out of this thing. Now here comes the gotcha. If you got big meaty palms like I was saying earlier, you might slightly cover those speakers. So you're gonna have to kind of hold it like this. And even another vote for getting that grip, because that'll separate your hands a bit. So you're not gonna cover those speakers. So if sound is important to you, yeah, another argument for the grip. All right, that's just a very brief look at Game Hub. We have RPC SX installed for PS3 emulation. But yeah, plays solid, fluid, feels good. On the Android gaming front, I've installed a number of games here, including Zenless Zone Zero. Running smooth, smooth, smooth. At 120. Hey, stop it. Oh. Okay, buddy. Hey, buddy, you're my buddy, right? You're my buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. I'm injured. Oh, we did it. I just zoo reviewed it. Graphics are all messed up at this point. Yeah, 8 Elite sure has the oomph, but sometimes it has the oomph. Oh, and we are running GeForce now at 120 FPS. I got a 5 millisecond ping right now towards my local Oregon server there. The shoulders feel nice, although it's a little awkward if you're going to use both L1 and R1 and L2 and R2 at the same time. And Artemis local streaming, this is what we want to know, right? What about those decode times? So because this can make use of the ultra low latency mode on Artemis, we're able to take advantage of that because we have the 8 Elite here. We are looking at let's let it average out. Yeah, I'm looking at a 0.6 average millisecond, 0.6 millisecond decode time. That is really good. Really very good. If you want to see what the 8 Elite looks like stacked up against some other options, and here's a graph that we've lovingly prepared. The last thing I want to show off is I have the latest version of Eden on here, and it is the optimized version that's great for the 8 Elite chipset. So this is where the downside of this handheld comes in, especially on Switch emulation. Right now, you're going to be stuck with your native driver. There are some alternate options you can try to fiddle with, but as it stands, yeah, some games are just not going to be compatible. Some are going to be slow. So in that sense, you're looking at a bit of a performance and compatibility downgrade, depending on the game, compared to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 line range of devices. If you're wondering about the GPU driver, currently we are sitting on Qualcomm system GPU driver 0.800.51. Yeah, we're hitting 30 FPS here, okay. And it feels like it's running smooth. My left joystick has a little bit of joystick grind as I move along that left edge. The right one does not. Not really going to affect functionality. It's just a bit of an OCD annoyance on my part. Yeah, just a little bit. Check that out. Just a little bit. You know, I expected this to get a little bit hotter for an 8 Elite, but it's not too bad. 30's well within comfortable. Getting a little bit higher in the sides there. Look at that. 31, 32. Not terrible. Okay, here we go, 37. But the heat doesn't bother me too bad. I mean, usually it is an annoying thing for me, but the way they have it where you're holding it, not too bad. Definitely need more fan though. You could push the fans, go into sport mode if you want to get rid of that heat. There you go. Dropping down to 35. Yeah, haptics and rumble feel very good. Very good. And we're getting full speed here. So it looks like the first-party Nintendo games in general are working pretty well, where it can be pretty hit or miss once we get to the third-party titles. Okay, I think we've done enough damage for today. Let's wrap up. Well, what do you all think of the AYN Odin 3? This one so far has really exceeded my expectations. I'm having a lot of fun with it. The 8 Elite chipset here does have some compatibility issues, especially if you're going to want to use those custom drivers, which affects a Switch, which affects Game Hub and some other systems. And we do see that performance in the 8 Elite stacks up above the G3 Gen 3, stacks above the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 and the 865, some of the chipsets we've been seeing lately in these handhelds. And my buddy from Retro Game Core over here, he was kind enough to allow us to use his benchmarks today just to give you an idea of where the 8 Elite stacks up in here against these other chipsets. There it is right at the top, pretty much across the board here. Look into the Conquer Pocket Fit. It is very close to this. And the G3 Gen 3 is great for compatibility, probably the best option right now. But if you're interested in Rocknicks and things, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 handhelds from the Odin 2 line and now from Retroid, those are going to be offering compatibility with Linux. They're ready to go. One thing I do like about this as well when I'm holding it, I could almost use it like a smartphone. So I had the auto rotate on and kind of used it like that when I was prepping the device. And it is comfortable in that. Like, this would be a really nice shmup machine as well. I was thinking that you can get all your controls dialed in. But yeah, it's comfortable to hold like that. And it's lightweight in general. I like the LED lights. They're subtle, they're nice, good to have. Even though it's a transparent unit here, you know, it's not going to shine through. It does a little bit on the side though. The glass front is fine. It's very smooth, nice glass, but it does get printy, so you're going to be wiping that down. And it is two-tone if that bothers you. But yeah, this is my favorite color I think they've done in a long time. I didn't love the fan noise. It was louder and louder as we went along, as it needed more. And when it's in that loud state, you get this kind of little squeal, little fan whine, which don't love it. Emulation, for the most part, held its own. I liked seeing HDMI out again so we can use the dual screen attachment. Yeah, so far, I'm a fan of the Odin 3. Let him keep cooking. It's not perfect, but let's see where we're at in a few months. Like, let's revisit, try it against the Conquer Pocket Fit once we get that. And just, yeah, this is one that's going to grow, and the 8 Elite being more popular, especially with the more popular handheld, we should be seeing devs attempting to try to figure out a way to work with that 8 Elite chipset. But yeah, I want to know your thoughts. Is this one that you're going to pick up? Are you waiting for other options? Or are you totally satisfied with what you have and you're good to go and you can play all the games that you want to play? Until the next one, everybody, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you want to, and share to stay in the know for all of your favorite retro handhelds. And a special thanks once again to our channel members, our patrons, and our subs who make everything here possible for us. Perks with RH start for as little as $3 a month. Join us in our Discord to chat and play games, and join us every Monday on the Retro Handhelds podcast, where we go over the latest and greatest in emulation news and just give each other a hard time. It's a lot of fun. But until then, this has been Stubbs. On behalf of producer Sony, thank you for always editing these videos, by the way. Until then, take care of your handhelds, everybody, and each other.